Who doesn't love to travel? I do, and I think you do too. But traveling almost always comes with risks, and sometimes those risks can be a direct threat to your life. Today, I'll tell you about one such case. This incident took place in India. I traveled through India for 4 months, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. It always surprises me when young women say they have traveled or plan to travel alone in India. They say things like, I trust the universe, so nothing bad can happen to me. I live in harmony with the world and breathe through my womb. Well, that breathing can be interrupted, or it can become rapid and panicked, just like it did for the woman in today's story. But before we get to her, let me tell you something else about India. When a girl is born in an Indian family, it is considered bad news. She will need to be married off, and to do that, her family must save up a dowry. This essentially means that the family becomes poorer than if they had a boy. Once ultrasound technology allowed people to determine the gender of unborn children, many women in India started having abortions upon learning they were pregnant with a girl. This led to a demographic disaster, with far too many boys and not enough girls. And when there aren't enough women, the result is predictable. India has an extremely high rate of sexual violence. When I was in Goa, India's most tourist-friendly state, I was told that locals secretly spike women's drinks with drugs. And once a woman drinks it, what happened to the woman in today's story could happen to her too. The nightmare in India. 28-year-old Fernanda and her 64-year-old husband were traveling across India by motorcycle when they decided to spend the night in a tent. A popular travel blogger and the author of a well-known travel site, Fernanda became the victim of 7 rapists while traveling through India. The men carried out their horrific attack in front of her 64-year-old partner. Holding back tears, Fernanda and Vicente shared the harrowing details of their 2-hour ordeal on social media. The Spanish couple had traveled over 170,000 kilometers and were on their way through India by bike. Vicente said that he had a knife held to his throat while he watched his beloved being assaulted before his eyes. In a video where both he and Fernanda are seen covered in dark bruises, Fernanda tells her followers, "We are in an Indian hospital. The police are here too." On their way to Nepal, the couple had set up camp in a forest at a tourist spot in Dumka, located in the eastern state of Jharkhand. But shortly after they fell asleep, a gang of men broke into their tent. "They put a knife to my throat and threatened to kill me," Vicente said in the video. Then they raped Fernanda, 7 men. He added that his face was beaten to a pulp after they hit him with his own motorcycle helmet. Dumka, a city with a dark reputation. It's worth noting that Dumka, Jharkhand has long been infamous in India. It is one of the most underdeveloped and dangerous regions in the country, but for some reason this didn't stop the bloggers. They chose to set up camp right there. Very quickly, 7 aggressive men approached them. They brutally beat Vicente, smashed his face with a helmet and a rock, then held a knife to his throat and dragged him aside. Then the horror began for Fernanda. 7 of them assaulted and beat her right in front of her partner. Fernanda later noted that their primary motive was neither robbery nor violence. The only thing they truly wanted was to rape me, she wrote online. The biker couple, who have over 250,000 followers, had set out on a once-in-a-lifetime journey to travel the world by motorcycle. So far, they had visited 66 countries and covered 170,000 kilometers. During the attack, the criminals also stole 10,000 rupees, a little over $100, in cash and a ring. Police discovered the injured couple on the side of the road at 11 p.m. A representative of the Dumka police stated, "The investigation began as soon as we received the report." A brutal ordeal. In an interview with a Spanish television channel, Fernanda shared even more horrifying details of the attack. "They raped me one after another, while some of them stood and watched. It lasted for about 2 hours. An Indian police officer told reporters that interviewing the victims was difficult. because they spoke a mixture of Spanish and English. We couldn't fully understand them, but we took them to a hospital where doctors confirmed that the woman had been sexually assaulted. What happened to the rapists? I'll tell you right after you hit the like button. Done? Great. The police obtained descriptions of the attackers. They quickly arrested 4 of them, and later, the remaining 3 were caught. India's shame. Even Indian citizens expressed outrage and support for the victims. Many called it a national disgrace. Shame. Indian men treat foreign women the same way they treat their own women. Shame on our rotten society, wrote well-known Indian actor Richa Chadha. For India, rape is a national epidemic. Every year, over 31,000 sexual assaults are reported, and most of them are gang rapes. Even harsh punishments haven't stopped the crimes. In March 2020, 4 Indian men were executed for the gang rape and murder of a 23-year-old student back in 2012. That case forced the government to introduce tougher laws and harsher punishments for sexual offenders. But clearly, it wasn't enough. The lesson here: traveling is great, but your personal safety is even more important.